On today's episode of Gordie's Detroit Sports Catch Up, we're going to take you around the horn and get you ready for April in the D. Firstly, we're going to take a look at the Detroit Tigers series win against the San Diego Padres in the opening series of the Tigers season, and especially take a look at Kevin McGonigle's performance. Next, we're going to go ahead and take a quick, brief look at the Detroit Lions and the current legal situation unfolding with Terrion Arnold and some updates surrounding that, as well as some general thoughts. We're going to take a quick look at the Red Wings, a couple of thoughts from their performance these last couple of games, and what the Metro and East in general is looking like for the playoff picture. And then quickly, we will touch on how the Pistons are getting along without their star, Cade Cunningham, as he recovers from a collapsed lung. All that and more next on Gordie's Detroit Sports Catch Up. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Gordie's Detroit Sports Catch Up. All right, guys. First segment here. A couple of things that I want to touch on. Today, as you can see, I'm rocking the Block M and the maize and blue. Great game for Michigan today. I'll just touch on this quickly because it's not entirely what we're here for, but I think we should talk about it a little bit. I think it's significant. Detroit, or I'm sorry, it's a Detroit area team, and Michigan is going to the Final Four for the first time since 2018. So congrats to those guys. Congrats to Coach Dusty May. And 2 more games, and that championship is yours. So we'll see if the Axel Lindenborg and crew can get things done and, finish this run with a ring on their finger and a trophy in their hand. Anyways, really want to get into the Tigers here first, as this will probably be the majority of what we talk about. Normally, what I do for these segments, I like to go ahead and refer to the board, so I will do that in a moment. But before I go to the board, we all know the elephant in the room, so I'm going to just address it real quickly. Kevin McGonigle. I mean, come on. How can you not love baseball when you got a rookie like Kevin McGonigle coming in first start in his MLB career, 4 hits. Absolutely fantastic. Goes 4 for 5. Makes some plays in the infield as well. This guy is exactly what this team needed. His bat is so crucial for the Tigers lineup. And, as time goes on, I can see a guy like Kevin McGonigle being a leadoff hitter for the Detroit Tigers. But anyways, guys, we're going to switch angles, and I'm going to take you guys to the board real quick where we're going to break down the performances from certain players and the scores and just some general takeaways from the series. All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to my favorite section of this video, the board section. Hopefully you aren't bored during this section. Terrible pun. Anyways, let's get right into it. So Tigers win the series against the San Diego Padres 2-1. Both teams second in their divisions, but that's not too important as we've only, played one series so far in the year. Next up, they've got the Arizona Diamondbacks, another away series before they come home for opening day, which is going to be really exciting. Game 1, huge victory for the Detroit Tigers, walking into Petco Park, one of the premier stadiums in all of the MLB. Always a great home crowd. It's going to be tough when you're playing at Petco, but the Detroit Tigers take care of business 8-2. We mentioned it before, but Kevin McGonigle leading the way for the Detroit Tigers. 4 hits. I mean, this guy is on fire. 2 RBI, 2 runs. What else can you ask? You know, from a rookie coming in playing his first game. That doesn't happen. That just simply does not happen. Made a little bit of history as he's the first guy in a long time. Actually, I have these pulled up right over here. A little bit unprofessional of me to walk away from the board, but Billy Beane was the last Detroit Tiger to have 4 hits in their rookie debut. A couple of other guys, Wilson Ramos, Derek Gibson, Delino DeShields. So, hey, there's some historical context to Kevin McGonigle's greatness already. Biggest inning in this one was definitely the top of the first, where most of the action happened. It's unfortunate we were setting up the watch party for the Woodward Heavyweights. By the way, you guys tune in Woodward Sports from 5 to 7. Tune into the Heavyweights. Anyways, me and Spenny, we were setting up for the live watch party, and all the action was happening while we were setting up. It was unfortunate, but sometimes that's just how it goes. Top of the first, Kerry Carpenter strikes out swinging. Torres draws a walk. Colt Keith, base hit single. Green drew a walk as well, which, wow. Riley Green drew a walk. Pretty impressive. Hopefully there's a lot more of that to be seen for the rest of the season. As we know, that's something that he was working on a little bit during spring training, trying to change his approach a little bit and, not have so many strikeouts. So after Green draws the walk, Torres draws a walk as well, which scores Torkelson draws the walk, scores Torres. Detroit up 1-0. Here comes Kevin McGonigle. First pitch, first swing, boom, see you later ball. That ball gets launched into far right field for an RBI double. Fantastic. I was so pumped when the first pitch he swung at, all of a sudden, crack, there it goes. Immediate payoff for a roster guy that I've been waiting to be on this roster for a long time. After that, let's see here. After that, Dylan Dingler scores a base hit, little grounder through the left field gap. That one scores Torque Detroit up 4-0. Meadows and Baez strike out swinging to end the inning. But Tigers up. They jump on Padres in the top of the first. Bottom of the first. 4-0 Tigers going into the second. Later on, they tacked on a few more runs to the board, as you can see. Colt Keith also had a pretty significant day today. But let's switch now to the other side of the roster, the pitching side, and our ace, Tarek Skubal, took care of business today in his season debut. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, and 6 strikeouts. So, solid day from Tarek Skubal, especially as he is ramping into full production and getting ready for the season. I really like what I see from him. And let's see here. Yeah, so really liked let's see, who else was in this game? I think Vest came out in this game for a little bit, so that was good to see. We go to all right, we go to game 2. Framber Valdez, 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 5 Ks. great performance from him as well. And this starting pitching rotation really starting to show you that they deserve to be considered at least a top five, top three starting staff in all of the MLB. That gave the Tigers a great position to capitalize. Kenley Jansen also coming in relief with an inning and 3 Ks, strikes out the side in, I believe, the 9th inning. So you really like to see that from a veteran Kenley Jansen, who a lot of people wondered, does he still have it? I think he's still got something left in the tank. Gleyber Torres, 3 walks today, so you like to see that. Or, what was that, Friday, Saturday? Let's see, Riley Green went 1 for 5 with 1 RBI. Kevin McGonigle, 1 for 3, 2 RBIs, 1 walk. He was absolutely robbed by, I think it's Jake Merrill. They had a little bit of a playful banter after he met him again on the base paths after that big catch. Manny Machado on the Padres side of it went 1 for 3 with 1 run and 1 walk. And this, another, solid game for the Tigers. I didn't get to tune into too much of this as I was a little bit busy, but yeah, I mean, hey, you get your 2 aces wins and win the series. Listen, if you win more series than you don't, you're going to be in pretty damn good position to make the playoffs. So, yeah, I really like what I see there. Then game 3, Jack Flaherty, not the greatest performance, but I'm not going to blame everything on him, as the run support simply was not there. As you can see, they got blanked. 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, only 2 strikeouts. Colt Keith, another pretty productive day for him, 2 for 3, 1 walk. And, I actually really liked what I saw out of Siebold today. About 2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts, proving that he can be a solid mid-relief guy that the Tigers can count on. Man, I got to talk about the 9th inning. Mason Miller, what an entrance. I'm not even that big of a Korn fan, and even then, that's not even their best song, but, one of my favorite things about baseball is the closer, coming out to his own song, and it's badass. I love it. I think it's great. Let's see here. Yeah, a lot of unsuccessfully called ABS challenges. Very interesting to see how that's started to impact the game a little bit. I think a lot of the people that doubted it, just really didn't know how it was going to unfold. I think it's pretty smooth how they handle it. It doesn't get in the way of the game too much, and I already like the accountability that it is kind of forcing upon these refs, these umps. So personally, I'm a fan of the new ABS challenge system. Series takeaways. Kevin McGonigle. I mean, what a performance from this young man, especially game 1. That was really special. There's not too much that I can say about Kevin McGonigle that hasn't already been said. Like we said, he set a little bit of history. Yeah. Tarek Skubal, Framber Valdez is going to be an absolutely lethal 1-2 punch that is going to hopefully help the Tigers coast into the playoffs and win the division title for the first time in over 10 years, I believe. So, yeah, I think those 2 absolute studs can take you a long way. If you are a 500 around a 500 club with without Tarek Skubal and Framber Valdez. With Tarek Skubal, you sky's the limit, in my opinion. All right, let's see. Um, hmm, what do we got here? Yeah, like I said, Flaherty, kind of a mixed day, but not a lot of run support. Hopefully, we don't get bad Jack all year long. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he, still has plenty of innings left to give as a quality starter, but he's one of those guys that you just weren't entirely sure about last season, and it's probably going to continue to be that way. Yeah, Tigers scored 13 runs in the first two, but unfortunately got shut out game 3, just 2 hits in that game. Lineup needs to produce consistently, more specifically, the bottom of the lineup when your aces aren't in. Just because Jack Flaherty is on the mound, doesn't mean that you can't swing at anything or, listen, I don't really understand why they go completely blank like this some days. Like I literally had one guy to write about on the end of this game, and it still didn't lead to anything. So it's very frustrating when we get blanked like this because we should have the talent to avoid this kind of situation. But 3 runs evidently is enough for the Padres to steal the last game of the series against the Tigers, and Tigers head into their next series at Arizona, 2-1, hoping to ride into their opening day home opener with a winning record. Yeah. Other than that, let me see. The infield on defense struggling a little bit. There's still going to be those errors here and there, but that was one of the more obvious struggles with uh, the Detroit Tigers last season was their infield play. So hopefully that's something that we can get cleaned up. And, as Kevin McGonigle gets more comfortable in the infield, we see less and less of those. Torres, a couple of uncharacteristically bad mistakes. I'm sure he'll get his act together. And yeah, we got one more thing. The some of the guys in the bullpen are looking pretty good already. Jansen, Vest, Finnegan, Holton, all these guys are looking like absolutely solid relievers. So, pretty confident in the bullpen of the Detroit Tigers heading forward, and that's going to definitely be a tool that they're going to need to keep them afloat throughout the season. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for this Tiger segment. In the next segment, we're going to go ahead and take a quick look at the Detroit Red Wings and their potential path to playoffs, and also just how some of the teams around them are going to fare with their strength of schedule. We're also probably going to combine 2 segments. I think I'm going to talk about the Lions in this next segment as well, because there's really not too much on that front for once. So, yeah, stay tuned, guys. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the second segment of Gordie's Detroit Sports Catch Up. If you have not already, please do me a huge favor. Hit that like button, hit subscribe. If you even want to, you can hit that little bell icon to keep you notified every time that I release an episode so you can stay up to date with your latest Detroit sports news. I just want to thank you guys all for tuning in, and if you have anything to say, if you agree with me, disagree with me, drop a comment. I'd love to hear from anybody who tunes in. Without further ado, guys, the Red Wings. So it's not looking great for your Detroit Red Wings currently. 2-1 in their last, or 1-2 in their last 3, with some pretty killer losses to Philly just recently and Ottawa. I've been thinking a lot about the path for the Red Wings, and the more and more I look at it, the worse and worse I feel about their chances to make the postseason. And their play is simply not doing me any favors. I think right now that you're or as the when the season started, your two best players, Dylan Larkin and Jadon Gibson, needed to be able to carry you throughout the year into the postseason. Both of those guys are being held together with scotch tape right now, and it's fairly obvious. John Gibson, maybe not quite as much. We got a little fight between Denver and Denver and Golden State. Nothing. This is a basketball fight. They ain't really doing nothing. Bruce Brown running up in there, acting like he's tough. What the hell does he have the trucker chops for? That's insane. All right, my bad. I'm getting distracted, but Bruce Brown has the craziest facial hair I've seen an NBA player wear in a long time. He's literally got the Fu Manchu chops. That's insane. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, yeah. Red Wings, your stars are being held together by scotch tape right now. It's not working. It's simply not working, and it really sucks. It feels like a little bit of a microcosm of the year that the Detroit Lions had a couple of years ago in 2023, when you had this great season, everything's going quite well, and then all of a sudden, oh, everybody's hurt. The entire team caught the injury plague, and there's nothing you really can do about it. You know, they're still out there. They're playing, but they're obviously not playing 100%. So that's something that's just kind of been bothering me a little bit. So yeah, hopefully, or not hopefully. It looks like it's over. Let me hold on. I need a drink of water after hearing that. I got a lump in my throat just from how disappointed I am in these damn Red Wings. One thing I wanted to do real quick is go through the remaining strength of schedule of some of these teams that we got here, lay out everything. So the Boston Bruins, who we recently lost to, that was kind of the one of the more crucial games that we've played in a long time. They have 9 games left in the 4th most difficult remaining schedule, with some big games against the Dallas Stars on March 31st, Tampa Bay April 4th, Carolina April 7th, Tampa Bay again April 11th. So, shit ain't sweet for Boston either. They've got some tough ones coming up. The Columbus Blue Jackets, with 9 games left, have the 3rd most difficult remaining schedule. March 29th, they invite the Boston Bruins to town. March 31st, they play against the Carolina Hurricanes. Let's see here. Another tough game. April 7th, they play Detroit. April 9th, they play Buffalo. April 11th, they play Montreal. April 12th, Boston. And April 14th, Washington. So you got a killer's row there for Columbus. There's got to be a couple of losses in that schedule. That's one team that I'm looking at that's going to drop a few games. Another team that I'm looking at that's got to drop a few games is the Ottawa Senators. 9 games left. They have the 8th most difficult remaining schedule. They play the Buffalo Sabres April 2nd, the Minnesota Wild April 4th, the Carolina Hurricanes April 5th, and the Tampa Bay Lightning April 7th. That 4-game stretch is absolutely brutal. Those are all top 5 teams in the NHL. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. After that, it's way easier with Panthers, Islanders, Devils. Well, Islanders are, they're borderline. They're about a playoff team. God, what the fuck is Bruce Brown's haircut, bro? Anyways, um, let's see here. The Philadelphia Flyers, who we just lost to, have 10 games left in the seventh, or actually, that would be 9 games now. They just beat the Dallas Stars, so fantastic, just fantastic. I love that. It's great. It's great. But um, let's see here. April 2nd, they play Detroit again. April 3rd, they play the Islanders. April 5th, Boston Bruins. April 9th, they play Detroit again. April 13th, Carolina. April 14th, Montreal. And finally, Detroit with 9 games remaining and the 15th most difficult remaining schedule in the NHL. Let's see here. On Tuesday, they head to Pittsburgh to play the Penguins. That's a tough one. And then a couple days later, they travel back to Pennsylvania to play the Philadelphia Flyers. Another tough game. April 4th, they got a gimme against the New York Rangers, or at least what should be a gimme. April 5th, Minnesota Wild. Woof. April 7th, Columbus Blue Jackets. That's a tight game. That's one of those games that if you want to prove that you can even be considered a playoff team, that's a game that you have to win. April 9th, back at it against the Flyers. This another one at home. April 11th, New Jersey Devils. That's one you got to win. Took care of them last time when John Folk made his debut on the season. So, go ahead, take care of these guys. April 13th, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Brutal. And April 15th, the Florida Panthers get a little revenge, hopefully at the very end of the year. Or if it's that bad already, just lose and get a better draft position. But we're kind of in the purgatory zone anyway, so what fucking difference does it make? On another bad note, don't worry, this is why we're ending with the Pistons. We're gonna end off on a good note, but we got some shit to talk about with the Detroit Lions. Terrion Arnold has a little bit more of a development with his legal case. I think some more evidence was released, and his lawyer came out with a statement, pretty much a nothing burger, but kind of exactly what you would expect a lawyer to say. Really, what I kind of take away from it was that Terrion Arnold himself was not in any of these chats, and was not making these calls or texting people. However, his name was mentioned multiple times, and people that have been his known associates and family members were also mentioning his name in these chats, mentioning that he said this, that he's going here, he's doing this. So, not great. Not great at all for the Detroit Lions' chances of having their starting cornerback ready to go game 1. Now, personally, do I think that this is going to keep him out this season? Probably not. Reason why, this legal stuff, it takes a long time to develop it, whether it's like a quick case, or whether it's one of these long drawn out legal battles. These things take a while. So no matter what, I think Terrion Arnold is going to be playing week 1 for the Lions. Other than that, yeah, there was some good bits that we got. Well, good is, maybe not the best word here, but Brad Holmes had an interview with I believe it's the Lions Collective. Um, Shout out to those guys. Go watch that interview. Great interview. Um, a couple of interesting statements. Basically, he said that he was financially hamstrung with the decision to go after Cade Mays and also with the cap situation and when it comes to paying, uh, you know, some guys that we need to pay. Now, I'm assuming that he's talking about Jack Campbell and, uh, our boy Jahmyr Gibbs. But it sucks to hear that your organization doesn't quite have it like that. You know what I mean? They can't just throw all these contracts, you know, 10 years down the road in escrow and um unfortunately, it's not that simple. The Lions have to do some moving and shaking and um you know, take some shortcuts to make the books work. And we still have not signed our, the draft hasn't happened. We still haven't signed all of our rookies. So that's another 10 to 15 million dollars that you just need to have sitting around in your cap space to go ahead and, pay those guys. So yeah, who knows? But yeah, we'll see. Um, the biggest thing that I took away from Brad Holmes talking to some of the, the press guys, I think he really is convinced that Larry Borum is a starting caliber left tackle. We might head into next season with the worst offensive line that I've seen the Lions field in a long time. And if that's the case, the Detroit Lions, even with this easy schedule, might not even make playoffs. Jared Goff, we know what he's good at. We know what he's not good at. We understand his limitations. He cannot handle pressure like some other quarterbacks can. Um, Simply put, you have to have a great offensive line to have great production, or at least great success with Jared Goff. I shouldn't say production. He did have solid production last season, even while being blitzed, I think, more than he ever has in his career. Yeah, it really sucks. Feels like have you guys seen that like like can't have shit in Detroit and motherfuckers stole my porch. That's kind of how it feels right now. Can't have shit as a Detroit Lions fan. Uh Kirby probably won't ever be the same with his degenerative knee condition, kind of a similar thing that Todd Gurley went through. And, a year after that was announced, he was out of the league. So there's that. Brian Branch, I mean, I don't know if he's going to take the Jason Tatum route and take like 6 months, if that, to recover from his ACL or his Achilles tear. But, he's probably not going to be back until around Thanksgiving. And we have a defensive coordinator that has a fetish for man coverage with small corners. And it makes no fucking sense. But here we are. So, yeah, very nervous about the Lions heading into this season. Um, they still have a lot of ways that they need to improve. All right, that's enough of this doomer ass segment. I don't want to. I don't want to be sad anymore. I want to talk about some first seed in the East Pistons. You know what? We're gonna keep it rolling. Let's get right into this Pistons segment. So, a few games that I wanted to talk about. Uh, March 20th, They get it done against the Warriors. Remember seeing Draymond handing out his shoes and uh, towels and stuff to people while the game was still like mid action. So that was a little strange. Um, March 23rd had a hell of a game against the LA Lakers. That was a really fun one. Uh, Ended the Lakers 9-game winning streak. And, we had mid custody battle Luca absolutely balling out, but didn't matter. Detroit Pistons, best defense in basketball, takes care of the Lakers like we always do. It's the same thing as the Tigers and the Yankees with the Lakers and the Pistons. It's just this weird thing where it's like we're that team that they don't want to see. They do not want to see us. March 25th, we lose in overtime to the Atlanta Hawks. That team is honestly really solid. The Atlanta Hawks, now that they don't have Trae Young, is actually one of my, dare I say, one of my favorite teams. You got a lot of, really solid guys on that team, um, that all kind of fit the positionless basketball mold. Um, they've been a pretty surprising team that's been able to hang on to the bottom of the playoff standings, but I think the sky's the limit. You got guys like Jalen Johnson, Jonathan Kuminga, Dyson Daniels, Okongwu, Zachary Ricochet, Corey Crispert. They've got a squad there in Atlanta. Um, they grabbed Nikhil Alexander Walker from, I believe he was in New Orleans. Um, and they're led by CJ McCollum. Listen, the youth and on that team, I really like. I don't want to turn this into Atlanta Hawks segment, but that's definitely a team I'm looking for. And um, you got a lot of Yaks Landenbergs on that team. Those big wings that are uber athletic and can do a lot really. Yeah, but Pistons. Let's see here. March 26th, they get it done against the New Orleans Pelicans, 129 to 108. Just toasted them. And then March 28th, Minnesota Timberwolves, 87, Pistons 109. Big dub for the Pistons against uh, a Timberwolves team that it's kind of reeling lately. Um, yeah, just elite defensive showing in that game. And I can't talk about him enough, but Asar has been fantastic. He got 18 points. He went 9 for 11 from the field goal against the Atlanta Hawks. Had 11 points, 3 steals, 2 blocks versus the Pelicans. 6 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 steals versus Minnesota. Absolute menace. Love to see him continue to make a difference. Jalen Duren has stepped up in such a tremendous way to lead this team. Um, I love to see it. I absolutely love to see it. He's a guy that I think the Pistons, you know, made the right choice in paying. Or have they paid him yet? I don't think they have paid him yet. And if they haven't paid him yet, well, it's time to pay him. But anyways, um, yeah, Duren just dropping 30 bombs out here like it's nothing. Had 30 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, uh, and 2 blocks versus New Orleans. Had 26 points, 14 rebounds versus Atlanta. He had a double-double versus Minnesota. Just, yeah, he's absolutely dominant. Great at passing the ball. Um, Down low, he's got a deep bag of moves and cleans that glass very well. Tobias Harris, Unk, is, keeping it going. He's doing pretty solid for the Pistons. Um, you know, averages between 25-35 minutes per game. He's been averaging 17 to 18 points on pretty high efficiency, around anywhere from like 45 to 70% from field goal. Very good game versus Minnesota. 18 points, 3 blocks. Really good game against Atlanta. 22 points. And, just really good at spacing the floor. Um, as a secondary creator and getting that ball in his hand when the first play breaks down. I really like what he brings to this offense. Um, who else do I want to talk about? Oh, yeah, of course, Dennis Jenkins. A lot of people were talking a lot of shit about Dennis Jenkins when he got in a little bit of a slump after the contract that was given to him. Well, anybody that was talking shit about him has definitely been, put to rest, or their statements have been put to rest, and they have been forced to eat crow, because Dennis Jenkins is absolutely crucial to this Pistons operation. He had a career high 30 points against the LA Lakers. Absolutely fantastic performance. He had 19 points and 10 assists versus New Orleans, 13 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists versus Minnesota. Him stepping up as a primary ball handler has given a huge spark to this Detroit Pistons team, and it's something that they were, I wouldn't say desperately looking for, but something that they absolutely needed. Um, some other guys that have been contributing lately: Kevin Huerter has looked a lot better. Ron Holland continues to do what he does. 13 points, 2 steals, 2 blocks versus Minnesota. Solid rebounder. And him and Asar Thompson continue to be one of the best defensive duos in all of the NBA. Overall, they're doing great. I mean, you got guys that are scoring 20 plus all over this roster. So, when it comes to the Pistons, man, it really is just, can Duran continue to be dominant? Our team's going to figure him out. Or at least teams that can, match up against us when it comes to their bigs. A team like Cleveland, San Antonio is one of those teams that just is a matchup nightmare for the Pistons, as well as basically the rest of the league. Yeah, that loss to Atlanta was really one of their only slip ups in a very, very winnable stretch of games. And this has been probably a solid, you don't want your superstar Cade Cunningham to be hurt, obviously, but if he was going to miss any stretch of the season, pretty good stretch. Bench depth, like I said, has been huge. Holland, Reed, Herter. Yeah, they continue to roll along as the top seed in the East. Other than that, I'm trying to think, but I don't think I have anything else for you guys. Like I said, Michigan took care of business today, and they will play Arizona in the Final Four. So really looking forward to that. And yeah, Tigers start their series against Arizona here soon. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you all enjoyed. If you made it this far, why don't you hit that like button? Come on, you sat around for this long. Go ahead, press that button. It's the least you could do. If you agree with me, disagree with me, have anything to say, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you guys. And yeah, help me get a little bit more notice in this algorithm. Give me a sub here, a like here. Anything helps. Really appreciate it, guys. One last little tidbit before I leave here. This is Gordie's Detroit Sports Catch Up, so I figured that I should leave off with a little tidbit about the namesake of, or I should say, my namesake, Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe is the only NHL player ever to play at least one professional hockey game in 6 different decades. Pretty freaky, pretty amazing stat right there. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Gordie's Detroit Sports Catch Up. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Go Tigers, go Lions, go Red Wings, go Pistons, go Blue. Anyways, guys, appreciate you all for tuning in. Peace. All right, cool. Should be on the like 45 minutes.